3 weeks ago, the president said he's going to give you a more generous second stimulus check. Yesterday, he says it's on its way. But tonight, he says you can live without it. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is LALATE Evenings. Hope you're great and safe. This has been really one of the craziest 24 hours I have ever seen in the turnaround of the second stimulus check negotiations. This is Evening to LALATE, our 1-hour programming block that always starts at 6:45 and then goes to EIDL at 7:15. The day started and the night started with really great news, and then it went to a little bit of what the hell news. Now it's like, are you serious news? Let me get right to the details. I'm going to be detailing for you in this video 3 breaking developments minutes ago. First, the president addressed press in an uninterrupted discussion in which he talked. There was no Q&A. And I have his direct quotes as to what he said and why he does not want to give you a second stimulus check or any second stimulus package. Next, I have Nancy Pelosi's written statement as to where she thinks the situation is going. And finally, I have details of a secret meeting to get the second stimulus package done and deal complete overnight. Let me get right to the details. The day started really, really good. It couldn't start any better than this. Last night, the president told news that he is ordering his Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, to issue stimulus checks. Hallelujah. Thank God we're finally there. But then there was that calculation in the statement. He was going to issue, he instructed Steve Mnuchin, head of Treasury, to issue $3,400 to individual households. And then everyone's breath dropped. What? I detailed earlier today that was great news and a little bit of what the hell news. The great news was that a second stimulus check was going out. The president was going to circumvent Congress. He was going to use the powers of the Treasury, whether he can or cannot, and hope that no one, sues him under the presumption that no one would sue him because it doesn't look good, and would just simply have Mnuchin send out money from the Treasury. It sounded all great. $1,200 to individuals if you're not a dependent. $1,200 to individuals. If you are a married couple, $2,400. If you're a household of 4, which is what his tweet said, $3,400. Now everyone's like, LALATE, I know I'm not that great on math, but I'm not as bad as Larry Kudlow on math. What is $3,400 for a family of 4? It meant that he's giving dependents $500. Yes. So 3 weeks ago, the president said he was going to give you a more generous check than $1,200. He slammed the Democrats for only offering you $1,200. He said that wasn't generous enough, and he wanted to be more generous and give more than $1,200. Well, last night he offered $500 for dependents. Viewers of this channel did not respond well to the announcement because a lot of the viewers of this channel are adult dependents who are 18 years of age or older and appear on someone else's tax return. For them, this is not their second stimulus check, but their first stimulus check. The reason is simple. The first stimulus package round, there was no check for anyone 18 years or older who's on someone else's tax return. So a lot of viewers who are on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits are actually also dependents on someone else's tax return. And so the first time around, they didn't get a check, and now they were waiting for $1,200, and they're getting $500. They were pissed, and royally so. That was the reaction. But at least we knew there was $1,200 coming out to individuals, non-dependents, $500 to dependents, and $2,400 to married couples. That was the start of the day. It was so good. I mean, it was Saturday morning, and the wind was blowing, and I was hotter than a whore in a hot house. I was just sweating out bullets here, but it was a good day. It was really, really good. And then it started to get a little bit worse. I detailed on the FPUC video, if you didn't catch that, that's that extension of $600 per week that expired in July, and it's currently at $300 by executive order announced a week ago today by the president. I detailed the horrible news about that, which it is now running out of money. Yes, so if you didn't catch that video, I'll detail the shockers right to you right now. FPUC, $300 per week, of all the states that are existing, at least today, maybe some of them will defect by tomorrow, but of the states that exist, only 3 have agreed to participate. The rest are not, and all of them are saying that the funds will be gone in just a few weeks. Why? Because the funds are coming from FEMA, and FEMA issued an announcement that says we just don't have enough money to pay anyone this money. So that's not going well for the president. But then there was his press statement minutes ago. Now, as I said earlier today, this is not a this is not a red channel, not a blue channel. It's a purple channel. So I'm going to read his uninterrupted remarks, and you can comment about them below. And I know you're going to have comments about them. I will pause when there's something of significance that you need to really pay attention to. He said that his cabinet is working on decisive action to save American jobs, and called this the fastest economic recovery in America. The president added, the foundation that we set previously before the virus came and hit our shore, we're recovering much faster than anyone anticipated. Okay, next paragraph. I think we've done very well. We've had 3 phases. We're in phase 4. We've gotten everything we wanted, and we've also gotten a great economy. All you have to do is look at the charts. Our economy is doing good, but we want to do things differently than them, referring to the Democrats. Then he turned to the negotiations. He said his representatives are doing a very good job. Quote, nobody knows the deal better than I do. So as to the issue of when negotiations should resume, could resume, or should resume, the president said this: when it's right, I'll meet. But right now, it's not right. They want $1 trillion to bail out badly run states. They're Democratic-run states. So he says he's not going to meet. He's not going to push the negotiations. He just doesn't think it's an issue right now. He continues, will something happen? AKA, will there be a second stimulus check? Will there be a second stimulus package? Will there be hazard pay? Will there be FPUC? Will there be rent assistance? Will there be eviction moratoriums? Will there be all those wonderful things? Will something happen, he says. Possibly. He says possibly. Then he continues. But I want to tell you, the country is doing very well right now. We can live very happily with it or without it. If that's the point at which you sort of choke on your bagel, I'm sorry. But that's, let me read that sentence again. We can live very happily without the second stimulus package or with it. 24 hours after he said the America needs the stimulus, needs all these things, rent eviction moratorium, second stimulus check. 24 hours after he says America needs this, he says we can live happily without it. We don't need it. What do you think? I know you have a comment. Drop your comments below. I'm not going to comment. I certainly have a lot of things to say. I want you to drop your comments below. So that was that. Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi issued a press statement, well, not a press statement, a written statement to her Democratic colleagues. And it says that the White House has been the problem. The White House, I'm reading her remarks, I'm not putting my spin on it, I'm just reading you what she said. The White House has been a significant obstacle. Some Republicans question whether states should support each other. Their attitude on the assault has been assault on the American economy. Democrats will continue to fight for state and local government. A problem has been funding for schools. President Trump's refusal to implement any scientific plan to defeat the virus. The new school year starting with the coronavirus on a rampage. We will continue to fight for the post office. The Postal Service is central to our economy. I'm paraphrasing because it's I'm not reading the whole excerpt. I'm not paraphrasing. I'm just not reading the whole thing because it's 5 paragraphs long. As ever, and on these issues, the progress of the negotiations is complicated by the complete disarray of the Republican side, as President Trump contradicts his own negotiators and his own positions. Do you agree with her? You've heard what's happened in the last 24 hours. Do you agree with her? House and Senate Democrats stand united and ready to meet with the Republicans halfway. We say that we would cut $1 trillion if they would add $1 trillion to the bill, and that address the crisis facing our country. Democrats in the House and Senate will continue to fight and crush the virus and to open our schools and safety for the public. So that's Nancy Pelosi. How about the secret meeting? So there was a secret meeting overnight. Not so secret that it was headline news on CNBC, but it was secretive initially. It's not cloak and dagger, it's it was the 7 members of the bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus. That's a fancy name, isn't it? Who have previously met first to advance negotiations. Their dialogue was respectful and productive. Members of the Problem Solvers Caucus spoke with Chief of Staff Mark Meadows this morning to discuss how to break the logjam between parties, get negotiations back in the room, and help Americans in our response to the COVID-19 crisis, said a spokesperson for the Problem Solvers crisis. Now, what's interesting about this is, one, they're in town. Phone News wants you to know that these are Congress people. They're not out of town. They're actually apparently still in town. They never left. So Phone News wants to tell you everyone's out of town. No one's working on this. Phone News, here you go. The caucus met with Mark Meadows, who's not on vacation and not out of town either. And so they met with him to try to get the negotiations going. This is a bipartisan group. Despite congressional Democrats' continued insistence on blocking coronavirus legislation, the White House continues to evaluate all options on how we can deliver relief to American workers, keep our schools safe, and ignite our economy again, a White House spokesperson said. Ironically, that press statement was before the president spoke today from his golf course, Bedminster in New Jersey, that costs $350,000 a year to be a member. And he paid for $35 million in bankruptcy for that's now worth about $75 million. So unemployment is running out and is going to be gone. FPUC is now a hot mess express unto itself. Apparently, of all the states, only 3 are willing to participate. There's not enough money. What's going on? FPUC, $600 from the federal government, is underwritten by FEMA. It's not underwritten by Treasury, so the money is just not there. The president, by executive order last Saturday, said, hey, I'm going to give you your unemployment benefits. The only problem is he didn't have a bank to underwrite the process for. FPUC was normally done by act of Congress with Treasury money. Well, the way he went around that was doing it by FEMA money. The only problem is FEMA doesn't have the type of money to pay unemployment benefits. So what's going to happen? Basically, if you're on unemployment benefits and you're watching this video and you're wondering, are you going to get that $300 a week? If you're not in one of 3 states, as one viewer, another viewer says none of the states are participating. I haven't seen any states participating. Then you're not going to get $300 a week. You're just not going to get any FPUC from July going forward in this new, I call it FPUC 2.0. So as we sit here right now, let me recap what you do not have, what the president claims you have, and what you really have. Second stimulus check. He says the second stimulus check is going out. Tonight he says, I don't know. You heard his remark. You decide for yourself what he wants to do. That's 24 hours with the check. Hazard pay. Still not live. It's part of the bill, so we don't have that. FPUC, simply not happening. There is absolutely no FPUC happening in anywhere but 3 states from July going forward. So the president thinks that there's a wonderful unemployment benefits being provided to the states across the country. They don't want to participate in it. They don't have the money for it. They don't have the computer systems for it. They're just not participating in it. So that's not happening. And I got to do the math for you. It's not just blue states or red states or red states or blue states. It's literally every state doesn't want to participate in it. And they all say it has to be done by act of Congress. They don't want to touch it. They just think it's illegal. Rental assistance. The president thinks you have an eviction moratorium. You don't have an eviction moratorium. The president thinks you have a mortgage forbearance by executive order last week, and you don't have one. You don't have rental assistance either. He claims that he offered rental assistance in his tweets last night. You don't have rental assistance either because no one has agreed upon anything. So what do we have? We have a bunch of nincompoops. We literally have a bunch of nincompoops. We have a bunch of people who literally cannot keep their stories straight from within 24 hours. You see why last night's video, The Lies and Deceptions of Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin, was such a hit, because these two people, Steve and Nancy, literally cannot keep their stories straight by the 24 hours. But now, as we sit here tonight, is it great news? Is it good news? Is it what the hell news? Or is it, I'm done with this news? It's literally very, very confusing. I'm ready to send rental assistance payments to hardworking Americans that have been hurt by the China virus, he said last night. I'm ready to send $105 billion to states to help schools stay open with additional PPP. I'm ready to send more money to states and local governments to save their jobs, police, firefighters, and teachers. That's what he said about states last night. You heard that remark. Let me read that again. I'm ready to send more money to states and local governments. Okay, that was last night. Tonight, he says, but right now, it's right there. They want $1 trillion to bail out badly run states. They're Democrat states. Will that happen? That's not going to happen. Same person, different remark. Last night, he said that I'm ready to send out rental assistance to hardworking Americans that need help right now, hurt by China virus. That need help right now. There's two parts of that comment. There are people that are hurt by it, that need help right now. Let me actually read you the quote tonight. I want to tell you, the country is doing very well right now. We can live very happily with or without it. Same person, 24 hours later. He also says that people have been hurt by the virus. But then he also says our economy is doing good right now, but we want to do things differently. Right now, it's I want to give money to the people. It's just. Now, I'll end with this one sentence he did provide in the press statement in the conference this afternoon, which is slightly good news because it's slightly consistent. He says, I want to give money to the people. I want to put money in the people's hands. They want to put money in politicians' hands so politicians don't look stupid. Okay, that's sort of consistent with, I have directed Steve Mnuchin to send direct payments of $3,400 to families of 4 to all Americans right now. That perhaps is the redeeming part of the last 24 hours. That perhaps the second stimulus check is, getting a consistent statement. What do you think? I know you have a lot of comments coming up as EIDL. It's just, bottom line is they're not out of town. They're still in town. They're still working on it. This is the way they talk. And as he says, will something happen? Possibly. Coming up next is EIDL. As always, stay informed, stay motivated, stay smiling, and stay with LALATE for more.